From Hollywood, Miss Marjorie Riordan in The Unexpected.
The Unexpected.
The Unexpected. Life is filled with the unexpected. Romantic, tragic, and mysterious endings to our most ordinary actions. Dreams come true, or dreams are shattered by sudden twists of fate in The Unexpected. And now, Miss Marjorie Riordan, outstanding motion picture and stage star in The Cripple, a drama of The Unexpected.
Alice was always helpless. Even as a child, she needed someone to look after her, to sit with her, tell her stories, and see that she took her medicine. At first, I didn't mind. It was like a game playing older sister. But as the months and years dragged by, I learned to hate her and wish she were dead. Put the blanket over your legs, Alice. I don't want you to catch cold.
Yes, Amanda.
Now, is there anything you want? I'm going shopping.
No, dear. Nothing.
Are you sure?
Quite sure.
Well, then I'll be back in a few minutes.
All right. Oh, Mandy.
Yes?
Do you suppose you could stop by the lending library and get me another book? I've nearly finished this one, and I won't have anything to read tonight.
Why didn't you say so when I asked you if you wanted anything?
I didn't think of it. If it's going to take so much effort, don't bother.
What sort of a book do you want?
Don't bother, Amanda.
Very well, I won't.
If I could, I'd get it myself. Do you think a sister would be a little more considerate of a cripple?
Oh, I told you I'd get the book. Now, for heaven's sake, what do you want?
Nothing. Nothing at all. Just want to be left here, alone and helpless and crippled. That's what I want.
Will you stop saying that you're crippled?
It's the truth, isn't it? What difference does it make to you? I'm the one with the twisted legs.
For the last time, Alice, I don't want you to mention your legs again. I don't ever want to see them again, and I won't. Do you hear me? I won't.
Oh, yes, you will, Amanda. I know you hate anything that isn't perfect, and you hate me. But you'll look at my legs. Look at them, Amanda. See, I'll raise the blanket.
Oh.
Look at my legs and know that they'll be a part of your life as long as they're part of mine. Amanda, you'll take care of me as long as you live.
No, only as long as you live, Alice.
Yes, Amanda. I know.
Oh, why have you lived so long? You're half dead now, wasting away a little every hour, feeble and useless. You're not alive. Why don't you give up and die? I stood there trembling and felt the blood drain out of my face. Then I turned and with my lips pressed tight together walked from the room. I had to get away from Alice. Every time I looked at her, I felt a loathing disgust. But I couldn't leave her. I couldn't afford to. Father had seen to that. He'd left all his money in a trust fund, and I could use it only so long as I lived with Alice and took care of her. She'd been his favorite, and she'd used her twisted wiles on Father to trap me. It wasn't fair. I was chained to a lifeless corpse. But then, at last, I saw it. I saw a way to break the shackles. Jim Adams was young and handsome and rich, the answer to a maiden's prayer. And with luck, he might prove the Prince Charming who would carry me on a white horse to a beautiful castle, away from the hatred that had become a cancer on my soul, away from Alice. Jim?
Yes, darling?
We'd better leave. I'm afraid I'm going to be late, and I wouldn't want Alice to worry about me.
You're always thinking about your sister, Mandy. Why don't you think of yourself once in a while?
Oh, but I do, Jim. I'm really very selfish.
Mandy, you're the most unselfish girl I've ever met.
Oh, don't you believe it?
But seriously, I want to talk to you.
Seriously?
Yes, we've known each other for several months now. Long enough to...
Fall in love?
Oh, Mandy, darling, you mean you feel the same way?
Of course, Jim. Haven't you known?
Well, yes, in a way, but
But I thought perhaps I was imagining it because I wanted you to care so desperately.
It wasn't imagination.
I just don't believe it. Honest, Mandy, I just don't know what to say.
Well, you could ask me to be your wife.
Will you, darling? Will you marry me?
Oh, Jim, of course I will. Of course, if
what?
there's just one thing.
Well, name it and it's yours. Do you want the moon with a big red ribbon or a handful of stars?
Oh, no, silly. It's much simpler than that. I want to be married right away.
Right away?
Yes, tomorrow. Oh, I'm afraid to wait. Something might happen. I've got to tell Alice and make the break quickly, or I might not be able to go through with it.
Tomorrow?
You understand, don't you? If I put it off, I'll know that I'm hurting Alice, and I couldn't stand that.
But, darling, I thought she could live with us. I mean, after the honeymoon.
Oh, no. I mean, she'd never do that. We've talked it over, you see, and she's always said that when I married, she'd never stay with me. I know I couldn't change her mind.
Well, whatever you say.
Oh, of course I'll ask her, but it wouldn't do any good.
I think I can see her point. You've got to live your own life, Mandy, and Alice knows that. She's quite right.
Yes, I guess she is, but it's so hard to convince myself after all these years. Are you still awake, Alice?
Yes, of course.
Then I can come in.
How could I stop you?
By telling me to stay out.
What's the matter with you tonight, Amanda?
I'm going to be married. Yes, to Jim Adams. We're driving over the state line tomorrow afternoon. By evening, you will have a brother-in-law. Aren't you the lucky girl?
I don't believe it. You can't leave me. You won't get a cent if you do.
Oh, I assure you, Alice, I'll get far more money by marrying Jim, and he won't be half so much trouble.
You're just marrying him to get away. I know you, Amanda. You've tricked him, and you're using him so you can leave me.
Why, Alice, Jim and I are caught in the white flame of pure love.
I won't let you do it. I won't let you get away with it. I'll tell him. I'll tell him everything, how mean and petty and vicious you are.
You won't tell him a thing, do you hear me? Not a thing. If you say one word, I'll...
You'll what?
It doesn't matter. I'm meeting Jim downtown. I thought it best to avoid a scene here. And the servants will be instructed that you're not to use a phone. For the first time, Alice, your disability will be a convenience to me. I'm even rather grateful for it. And now, good night. I'll say goodbye tomorrow. Sleep well, dear sister. The next morning, the blushing bride awoke, dressed carefully for the occasion in a quiet gray wool suit, added a blue scarf, a new handkerchief, and a diamond lapel watch borrowed from Alice. Something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue. I called the apartment house garage and told them that I was planning a very special trip, that I wanted them to check my car, go over it carefully, and leave it in front of the building at 4 that afternoon. Then I had breakfast, ordered a taxi, and went downtown trousseauing. When I got back to the apartment, it was 4:30, and my cream-colored convertible hovered at the curb like a waiting Pegasus. My extravagant parcels and I bounded into the elevator, sped upward to the proper floor, and hurried into the bedroom. It took only a few minutes to finish packing. I decided not to say goodbye to Alice. I didn't want to see her again.
Amanda? Amanda, is that you? I've got to talk to you, Amanda. Don't go without seeing me. Amanda!
I closed the door.
Amanda, I've got to talk to you.
Then I closed my ears and hurried downstairs. I picked up Jim in front of his office, and we drove over the state line to a little white frame house with a sign on the door saying, Justice of the Peace. Then, half an hour later, we were married. As the car raced through the thinning traffic and gathered speed, I smiled and my mind whispered gleefully, oh, you'll never hear Alice's voice again. You'll never look at twisted legs again. You'll never play nursemaid to a cripple. Never, never, never again.
You think the story is over, don't you? But wait. Fate takes a hand. Wait for the unexpected. And now for the surprising conclusion of The Cripple, a Hamilton Whitney production starring Miss Marjorie Riordan, written by Robert Libet and Frank Burt, and directed by Frank K. Danzig.
I don't remember very much about the accident. It happened so quickly. And then came the hours of waiting in the hospital corridor. Waiting and wondering.
You can go in now, Mrs. Adams.
Thank you.
Mandy? Is that you, Mandy?
Yes, I'm here.
Are you all right, Mandy? You're not hurt?
No, Jim, I'm not hurt.
Oh, what happened? That truck,
Well, something was wrong with my car.
Your car? What was wrong?
Alice didn't tell me. It was her fault. The garage left word not to drive over 30, but she didn't tell me.
She didn't tell you?
Not a word. She claimed she called out something just before I left the house, but I didn't hear her. Do you understand, Jim? I didn't hear her call.
It doesn't matter. You mustn't blame Alice. But don't worry. I'll be all right. As long as I have you to look after me.
Oh, of course, darling. You'll be well in no time.
I wish that were true, Mandy. You see, they've already told me I'll never walk again.
You...
Yes. I'm going to be a cripple. But I won't mind. I'll have you to take care of me, won't I, Mandy? I'll always have you to take care of me.
The Cripple starred Miss Marjorie Riordan. Listen again soon for another of your favorite motion picture stars in a drama of the unexpected. This program was transcribed in Hollywood.